Yeah, I don't want to go to jail for anything. I'm much too, weak.
And you're pretty. You are listening to the Stand Up Dads podcast.
This is hecka boring.
Yeah, it is.
Let's try again.
Oh, you should just let that shit stay in, dude. That would be hilarious.
It always happens when someone's in the middle of talking, and it just seems like it would be wrong.
No, fucking do it next time.
All right. You heard it here. Nick wants me to fart on his podcast.
Yes.
You are listening to Stand Up Dads. This is Rob, and Mike is still alive, but convalescing. He really is fucked up right now, so I'm hoping he gets better soon. And this week, filling in for Mike, we have the host, the producer of the gag on this podcast, the Godfather of this show, Big Nick Johnson.
Woo, what up?
So thanks for coming out and helping me out of a fucking hole.
Thanks for having me on the Stand Up Dads podcast.
Yep. And this is the guy who I remember when I started this, you're like, hey, so when can I be on? And I actually said, well, you're not a dad. And
yeah, that was very hurtful.
It was. And now I'm having you on in an episode in your honor because you don't have kids because you're smarter than me. We're going to talk about deciding not to have kids and why that's okay.
It's sort of like asking yourself, do you want to be happy with your life? If so, don't have kids.
Yeah, pull out.
Pull out. That's what the girls love.
Oh, yeah, sure. But it was funny because I was telling Kim about it and about the idea for the episode. She's like, well, why would people without kids listen to that on a parenting podcast? I'm like, who the fuck listens to me now? So it's out there.
Yeah, I bet they really take our opinion seriously in Iraq.
Yeah. Yeah, I have Belarus is our new stronghold.
That's a country?
It is.
Oh God, I'm stupid.
Don't feel bad. I had to look it up.
I thought that was like the capital of Ukraine or some shit.
No, it's its own little. I think it's one of the fragmented Soviet things from way back when. But
so it doesn't count. Okay,
sure it does. I got Ukraine in there too. So, God damn it, someone's banging on my door. Okay, so it's my kid. He's cleaning the bathroom as a punishment's too strong of a word, but he has a habit of peeing on the floor in the bathroom, and I don't mean just missing a little bit, but he'll actually just pee on the floor. So we are making him clean it.
That's so disgusting.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we all did gross stuff as kids.
I never just flat out peed on the ground unless I was outside
or drunk.
Yeah, drunk. I used to pee in water bottles in my room when I was drinking a bunch.
Oh, that's really fucking sad.
Yes.
I'm glad you're better.
Yeah. And that wasn't even the rock bottom. I continued to drink after that.
I'm glad you're here to laugh about it now. When I was managing the delivery company, I had a driver who, unbeknownst to me, was peeing in Gatorade bottles, which I get it because if you've never had a job delivering stuff all day, bathrooms are like gold. Finding one you could use, especially downtown San Francisco, because no one lets you pee there. And so I get that. But the problem was he kept reusing them. So his van just streaked of piss all the time.
Like he would just dump it out and then keep it in there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And he had several because you could hear them. And this is back when Gatorade was glass. So you could hear them just clinking around as you're turning corners. It's just like, oh, geez. Didn't you have some gross kid thing?
Not me. My wife's brother, when he was young, in diapers, he felt himself a little Picasso. So he stuck his hand in his diaper, pulled out a bunch of shit, smeared it on the walls, and was like, look, Mom, painting.
Wouldn't that be more of a Picasso?
Oh, nice. What is this, capital puns?
No, I am not smart enough. I got in trouble for cheating on that, right?
No.
We had them on.
No.
I didn't cheat, but I had notes for myself.
Oh, yeah.
And Kim, I guess, or someone, did we have video on that? And they saw and said, you had notes down. I'm like, yeah, I fucking had notes. I'm not smart. So for those of you wondering what the hell I'm talking about, we had Damian Harmony on, and we did a mini version of Capital Punishment on the gag on this show. So just look up gag on this and find capital puns and it'll come up. And yeah, I cheated against my wife and she still beat me, rightfully so. I don't know. So back to the not having kids. When I was in my 20s, I had a vasectomy money jar. I've posted it on Facebook where my kid is holding it up, gloating, even though he has no idea what the hell it means. Yeah. So who would have thought I'd go from having a vasectomy money jar to having a kid to having supposedly a podcast about parenting. And if you're using this as a resource for parenting, please call CPS and turn yourself in.
I don't know. You guys have some good topics. And
maybe, but not the body of it.
I still remember when I came on and you guys were aghast at the video I showed.
Which one was it again?
Remember the one
when we went too far?
No, it was the one where the guy's like telling his kid over and over, like, hey, put your seatbelt on, put your seatbelt on. Right. And he never did. So he hit the brakes and the kid's head just hit right where the airbag was. Yeah,
that episode was when parenting goes too far.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. That was the one you were on. And the kid had it coming, but geez.
Hey, he probably learned a lesson. That's how I learned.
Yeah. I think everyone that has had kids has had that moment of regret of like, fuck, what did I do? And then you realize I'm stuck in this forever. But no one portrays that more than this guy. So we're at pretty much a 1 year mark right now from when everything shut down last year because of COVID. And this thing went viral. I don't know if you remember it, but they were giving this guy options.
Because of coronavirus, you are going to be quarantined, but you have a choice. Do you A, quarantine with your wife and child, or B?
I need to hear that one more time.
Because of coronavirus, you are going to be quarantined, but you have a choice. Do you A, quarantine with your wife and child, or B?
There was a guy who possibly could have benefited from listening to this. Because it sounds like he doesn't want that. And then you got on the other side, fucking yawning already. Jesus Christ.
Hey, I was up early and we had a lot going on early. Shut your mouth. I'm old.
I think I'm 15 years older than you, fucker. But
yeah, you are an old fuck. Yet I'm having the same shit that happens to you happen to me, like farts just falling out.
Well, it's because you didn't take care of yourself, but neither have I. So, but on the flip side of that, we got this guy, Drew Hastings, who knows exactly why he didn't want to have kids.
You have kids. That's been a big issue with me for a long time. I mean, I've wrestled with that for a long time. Oh, I'm the last male in my family. I should have kids. Oh, I'm going to get too old and then I'll regret not having them. And you know what? Something happened to me, and I don't want to get all spiritual on you, but something happened to me last year that took me off the fence about having kids. And I was in Atlanta, Georgia, about a year ago, sitting outside a coffee house one day. And this adorable, cute little 4 or 5 year old girl walks by with her mother. And right in front of me, like it was destined, she stops. And I hear her say to her mom, "Mommy, you know what my 3 favorite colors are?" And I was like, oh. And the mother looks down and she says, "No, darling, what are they?" And they just kept walking up the sidewalk. And I thought, oh, that's my problem. I don't give a fuck what your 3 favorite colors are.
I love that.
That is one weird thing. Like when your child gives you, and I'm curious, answer this. When your child gives you something and it's like, because Kim posts the pictures that Owen does.
Oh God, yeah. I have bins and bins and bins of shitty artwork. And sorry, Owen, I love you more than anything, but no one does good artwork at the age of 3. Okay. It's just smears on a fucking piece of butcher paper. And she has kept every single fucking one unless something spills on them, and even then she tries to salvage them. And the thing is, I can't bring myself to toss them. Yeah, you get it all. And the thing is, when they give it to you, you know, if a kid gives you a macaroni bracelet, you wear a fucking macaroni bracelet. That's it. That's what you're wearing that day. And then you figure out some way to get that off and explain to them how you didn't want to break it. So you had to set it down for a while.
But I mean, like, Are you doing that because you're genuinely proud of the artwork, or are you doing that because you're like, I don't want to hurt my kids' feelings?
No, because I remember what it was like as a kid to put my heart and soul into something and give it to somebody and have them, as a kid, and have them go, okay. And you're like, fuck. So, if it's something that he just rattled off, I'll give it back and say, you know what, you've done it better than this, because his fairy godmother Trish is fucking awesome, and St. Patrick's Day is like their holiday together, so she always sends them stuff like leprechauns and stuff. And I'll tell him, okay, well, you better send her a thank you or make her a thank you card, and he does. And sometimes he does a good job, and sometimes he just rattles off a turd, and I'm like, take it back, this isn't good enough. So not everything is precious, but and you're an asshole if if they don't try and you reward it, you're not doing anyone any favors. So going back to how you're smarter than me, you have been in a relationship for how long?
Oh, shit. Okay. She has her earphones in. I want to say 12 years.
Okay. So, and I've been married for 11 and a half. So about the same amount of time. And so did you guys consciously decide no kids, or?
It would be difficult to have kids. Unfortunately, my wife has PCOS, which is it's just difficult to have kids. It does something with the ovaries and stuff. But I know it's definitely something that, like, if it happens, cool. If it doesn't, we're still fine, because I mean, on the one hand, kids are fucking expensive.
Oh yeah. And
then I say things apparently that make my wife happy we don't have kids.
Like what?
Like the mittens. Okay. When they're babies and you put mittens on them.
Yeah.
I thought it was because they have poor circulation. She's like, no, they have fingernails. And I was like, they have fingernails?
They will shred the fuck out of themselves.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk about, she'll show me videos of the explosive poop out of a baby, and like dad's just getting covered in this green liquid poop. And I'm like, that looks so disgusting. Yeah. And she'll be like, well, but it's your kid. I'm like, I don't give a shit. They're shitting on me.
It's one of those things that when you're in the middle of it, you don't notice it. Because I remember once my kid shit my pants because the way I was holding him, the diaper moved away. So his butt was hanging out, but I didn't notice it. And then I felt warm and wet on my leg. And his diaper was perfectly clean. I didn't even have to change his diaper, but I had to change myself. So, but your tolerance for nastiness definitely solidifies. But then after you're not dealing with diapers and stuff, then it's just gross again. So I think you just harden yourself to it. Although that said, I did pick up cat shit in the office like a couple of weeks ago, because someone locked the door or closed the door so the office cat couldn't use the litter box. So she shit in the hall. And I didn't think twice about that. I mean, I used, paper towels. I didn't pick it up barehanded, but I think before kids, I would have been like, ew, and acted like I didn't see it like you do.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I think there is that. It kind of toughens up. It kills that part of your soul that gives a shit about clean things. Like I said, about the pee in the bathroom.
Then you got to worry about them. And the old fucking adage of like, oh, your kids are going to be 10 times worse than you. I put my parents through hell.
Oh yeah.
And first of all, if we had a girl, she'd be a whore automatically.
How do you know that?
I'm a whore. I don't want to say my wife is a whore, but she's had her days. And if we had a boy, the boy would be a whore. I'd be like, you need to wrap it up. But then he'd be like me at 16, like, no, you can't feel anything. Screw that. I'll pull out. And then you got to be like, the one thing I will never get is getting genuine joy out of watching your kid play the shittiest soccer in the world.
I don't get that either.
Yet. So, I mean, are you going to sign Owen up for sports?
Well, after COVID, yeah, we were actually talking about getting him into soccer.
Oh,
but I did a thing when he was younger. It was like a little introductory baseball thing, and it was horrible. But he was 4. He was appropriately horrible, but he really did not. I catch myself getting mad. So it kind of goes like to the talent shows where, watching other kid, you watch your kid and you smile and you're proud. I'm not so much proud of what he's doing, but the fact that he's doing it. Because I know when I was that age, I did not have the balls to go up in front of a crowd. Now I'll do stand up.
Yeah.
No, so I'm more proud of that. And actually, I'll be more proud when he puts a lot more effort into what he wants to do and finds his thing. I just think he hasn't found his thing. So when he does that, I think he's going to be awesome at it. But until then, he's just going to tinker and try and get me to spend money on shit and then give it up.
Yeah, like that drum set.
Like that drum set, which is in the garage. God damn it.
You need to force him to play that, man.
Fuck no.
See, that's what I would be like. As a parent, I would be like, okay, I spent X amount of dollars on this and you did it twice. No,
he actually was on it for a while, but then he just got tired of it. And then it got to the point where he was messing it up because he was like shoving it aside because it was in the way of where he wanted to play.
Oh, fucking kids.
So I'm like, all right, let's not go down that road. If only there was an ad to protect me from all this.
Some sort of PSA.
Some sort of PSA. That is exactly what it is. So I don't know how you feel about Chelsea Handler, but she had some PSAs about not having kids. They're entitled Kids. They're not that great. Here goes.
When you have kids, you can't just walk around your house in the middle of the day smoking weed, but that's exactly what I'm doing. Walking around the house smoking weed because I'm childless. I'm about to binge watch 10 hours of Storage Wars, also because I don't have kids. Sometimes in your 20s and 30s, people will try and trick you into having kids. But it's possible to remain childless and alone. You just have to want it.
Kids, they're not that great. Let's see, there was another one. Here goes.
There are a ton of mysteries in the universe, and since I don't have children, I don't have to explain any of them. I don't have some nosy, precocious child asking me questions about the galaxy, the Milky Way, or what a moon is. I don't want to lie to little children. I don't want to deceive them. I don't want to pretend that there's a Santa Claus or an Easter bunny or explain to them when they're going to get their first period or what this suit is. I had to figure out all of that on my own. I also hate arts and crafts. I hate stickers. I fucking hate glue. I hate Disney movies and I hate animation. I hate Smurfs. I hate Batman. I hate Robin. I hate their other friend, Spider-Man. I hate all of it. And I don't ever want to go back to anyone's childhood. Kids, they're not that great.
And then there's one last one, which I thought was, I think it will hit a nerve for a lot of people. Here goes.
Kids can't do anything fun, and that's why we have nothing in common. Kids can't do drugs, and they're not good at driving, which means they can't drive me around when I'm doing drugs. Kids can't get into nightclubs or hot tubs. And when they're very young, they can't even go in the fucking pool. Look at that pool. It's magnificent. And if I had kids, I'd have to put a big old ugly fence around that pool. I'm anti-fence. Don't you think those people have dealt with enough fences? If you want to take away the part of the pool that's unsafe, take away the kids and leave my pool alone. Kids, they're not that great.
So when she said, don't you think they've had enough with fences? It was a Hispanic family. Oh, holy shit. I don't think that would have changed my mind. That said, I know I'm probably coming off like I'm regretting having a kid. I don't. I'm actually very glad I did, but definitely it is an option because we got married late and everyone was just like right away. So when are you having kids? So when are you having kids? TikTok. It's like, fuck you, Jesus Christ, back off. What if I don't
happens? Yeah, that shit happens all the goddamn time. And sometimes you're like, look, it'll happen when it happens.
And you guys get that, I'm assuming?
Oh God, yes. We get it all the fucking time. And it's to the point of like, it gets annoying, especially when like, and this is going to sound weird for, parents out there, maybe. Every parent I've met, the first thing out of their mouth is, don't have kids.
Yep. I'm not the exception.
Yeah. It's like when you talk to somebody that's married, they're like, don't get married. And they give you that face of like, it's horror.
B.
Oh, you're going to regret it.
B.
Yeah.
Option B.
Plus it's, one of those things that I'll be, what is it? It's a dink, right? Double income, no kids.
Yeah.
Yeah. So while you are,
Single income kid.
yeah, while you're trying to figure out like, oh, where should we go, to vacation? Well, let's just drive somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
Me and the missus are going to be flying first class to Hawaii, spending 2 weeks in a nice penthouse because we don't have to bring along some shitty brat.
It's true. I mean, we did go to Portugal, 2 years ago, and London, and that was a great trip. But yeah, definitely we were hampered in what we could do and enjoy because of that. I mean, I'm glad we did it, but still there was some shit I would have loved to have done that we couldn't. It did focus, what I want to do with, I'm done fucking around. Well, no, I'm not. I'm still a fucking idiot. I take it all back.
That's another thing. Like, I've met the dumbest fucking people.
Oh yeah.
Ever. I've met people that make, you or I look like Einstein, and they have kids. And I'm like, oh,
lots of them.
Yeah. And you're just like, should you really be having kids?
You ever see Idiocracy?
Yes.
At the beginning, where that like smart PhD couple, like they're like, we're holding off for another 5 years, or, and then you got the idiot that's just, they're just living in a trailer and he's knocking up 3 different people, and he has like 30 descendants, and these 2, she ends up living alone. The people you want to breed aren't, and the other ones, it just comes flopping right out.
And that's why Idiocracy hits home so much, because you're right. Like, the people that are highly educated and stuff will have like a kid versus, other people are having like 6 or 7. Just, it's like that. Oh, what was it? It was a Monty Python sketch. It was just this person in an old house was just popping out kids left and right.
From Life of Brian, where they were Catholics, they weren't allowed to use condoms?
Yes, and then they go across the street, and he's like, well, I can put a Jimmy on because my religion says so.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it just plops out while she's doing dishes. Oh, what's that now?
Yeah.
Well, that actually brings up this one. Here's Daniel Tosh on how to fix the world because of this.
Would you like me to fix all the environmental problems on the planet? I can do it. The solution's simple. You won't help. That's the real problem. Stop having kids. You hear that? That's not enough support. That's why we have to contaminate the water. Because most of you are not on board yet. But that's all that has to happen. Just stop having kids, and then we can have the greatest party for the next 60 to 70 years, just pissing through all the natural resources. It would be amazing. But what happens? Some of you get fed up. You're like, yeah, I hate my life. You try. Look, it looks like me. Selfish. That's what I think of your families. Selfish. China has the right idea. They're the smartest people on the planet. If they think boys are more important and 2 should be the cap, good enough for me. We have a TV show in our country called 19 and Counting. That show should be called Wrecked Pussy. Shocking that one of those kids turned out to be a bad egg. You mean you can't keep your eye on 19 children? You can't be a good parent to 3 kids. Do you know how I know that? Because my parents had 4. What are you gonna do when one of them asks, who do you love more? I love you all the same. Oh, really? A 19-way tie? F you, Mom. And you deserve that kind of language. You can't sell a 19-way tie to anyone. You're gonna have to be honest with those kids. Like, all right, let's see. One of you's a predator, so you're out. Not even sure these 3 are mine anymore. No idea why the ginger's staring at me. You have no shot. What? You think I enjoy dunking you in a tub of sunblock just to bring you outside, you mutant? What is your X-Men power besides killing every bone in every room you walk into? I tease redheads. You're just as pretty as prettier people.
Oh man, I know I would have hated him in if I went to high school with him, but he's fucking hilarious. I just that 19 was it 19 and counting? What was yeah, Jesus. Well, I kind of skipped around, but I have a few articles which I'll post links to about things child-free people want you to know.
Oh, I got to hear this.
Child-free people do not make their decisions lightly. They've observed parenting up close and they don't like what they see. Some of the people I respect are like, hey, I came from a fucked up household and I know that I would pass that down to my, I would be the same parent, even though you're aware of it.
I thought you were saying we look at other parents and we're like, you are shit parents.
That too. But the thing is, I look at that like, oh, that guy's a fucking idiot. And then it's like, oh, but I might be the same thing. I don't know. That's why I don't dance in public, because I know.
Look like Elaine from Seinfeld.
Exactly. Or Trump. That guy fucking can't dance. Jesus.
There, you lost 50% of your base right there, buddy.
Yeah, if you're a Trump supporter and you're still listening to this, I don't know what the fuck to tell you. For women, environmental and social responsibility often play a part. While men, it tends to be internally motivated. Like they want to still be able to travel. They still want to be able to just enjoy life. And they have put a lot of thought into what it means to be a parent, which I think a lot of the people that do have kids don't. Oh, it's just another one. It's just another one. Whatever. They, let's see. This is from another one. I never know how to answer your question. So please stop asking people. We don't hate kids. And I have to say, Nick he would probably be a better dad to Owen than I am, because on gag on this, Owen always kind of, busts into the room to give me a good night hug. And Nick always, hey, Owen. And he genuinely seems happy to see him, which I don't do that. And he's my own fucking kid.
Well, it's only your kid. If our co-host's kid comes in, I'll just be like, get that kid out of the shot.
Yeah, but you still, I don't know. You just have what I appreciate from your side is you treat kids like they're people, not like something to be tolerated. So anyway, I think you'd be a great uncle.
Well, thank you. Which is sad because I do have a niece and nephew. I just never see them.
Oh, well, I know, but there's other stuff for that, which we won't go into here. But although you would also be the uncle that introduced them to porn.
Oh yeah, dude. When we were moving to this apartment, I was thinking about asking one of my wife's friend's kid, who was like 15 at the time.
Yeah.
She was like, well, what do you guys think you'll talk about, in the U-Haul truck? And I was like, well, I'd ask him, if he's got his dick wet yet. And she was like, no, you wouldn't. And I'd be like, he's 15. Yeah. He needs to know. And his dad's not in his life. It's like somebody's got to be that father figure of like, hey, stupid good, buddy.
It gets wet.
You're like, so see what happens is.
Yeah, because actually I think back to the first time I saw porn, it was because of a friend of mine's uncle. So uncle's bad. Let's see. Another thing on things I wish you knew about my child-free marriage. We've thought about having children. They are a family. Even if it's just two fucking people, they still are a family. And they don't understand why people have to ask so fucking often.
I think it's like they want people to share in their misery.
That is so fucked up. Seriously, it's like, you ever seen a Roach Motel?
Yes.
They don't talk because like one of them gets stuck in there. You'd think it'd be like, don't come in here. It's like, nah, come on. It's great in here. And they all fucking go in there and die.
Yeah. It's like, no, trust me. It gets better.
Yeah. It smells like syrup. It's gotta be good.
Yeah. Oh, I can't move. Oh, I'll be able to move in a little bit.
It's like, fuck you. Let's see. You won't be able to talk us into it. So please stop trying.
Yes.
And it's not us against you, because it really isn't like breeders versus non-breeders. It's just, we're just trying to live our fucking, it's like the gay agenda. I'm not saying childless couples are like gays, but it's like people just assume that there's something wrong. Like you want to enjoy life and not have any responsibilities. You still have fucking responsibilities. It's to each other instead of, I don't know, to some.
You sound like more of a proponent for this than me.
No, because one of my closest friends, again, my kid's fairy godmother, she chose not to have kids a long time ago. And it's such a wonderful thing for so many other people because of her decision, because if she had kids, she would not have time to be the awesome aunt she is to all these other, an aunt. She's not necessarily biologically related, but like she is wonderful to my kids. She's been wonderful to kids as long as I've known her. And I think she has genuinely made people's lives better because she was there, and she probably wouldn't have been able to be there if she had a bunch of kids.
One thing I want to say is people that decide not to have kids, it's not with any malicious intent.
Yeah.
Like we're not trying to shove our life in the life of people that have kids. We're just living.
Exactly. Yeah. But on the flip side, there are some people saying, like, every time I hear about other people's problems with their kids, they think they dodged a bullet.
True.
I could see that. And the thing is, I feel that because my kid is not perfect. No one's kid is. But the things I have to deal with for him are so much better than I see other people dealing with. So it's just, it's a smaller method of that. Also, if you don't have kids, it doesn't mean your marriage isn't a good one. Possibly it's even better. Because I remember I was at a COVID safe get together a few months back, talking to someone I went to high school with, and her kids are actually just moving out to go to college. Well, they were before they had to come back because of COVID. And what really struck me was she was saying, I realized that I had to get to know my husband again. And like, hey, this guy's pretty cool. Because, obviously she fell in love with him before they got married, and they got married for a reason. And then they raised 2 or 3 kids. And now the kids are gone and like, hey, who the fuck are you? And now it's like, wow, this is great. We have a great time together. And it's kind of sad that those kids put that on hold, but I'm glad it worked out that way rather than the other way where it's like, who the fuck are you? Get out of here. I don't.
My mom actually straight up told me that once.
What's that?
I moved out for like 6 months. When I was like 19.
No.
Yeah. This was when I was, running a gun. And so I really wasn't the best son to have around. So when I had to move back inevitably, because we got kicked out.
Yeah.
I remember, I don't think she meant it in a negative way, but the way she phrased it was like, yeah, when you were gone, your dad and I were getting to know each other again. We were starting to hold hands.
Wow.
It was like we were brand new married. And I was like, thanks, Mom.
Well, I mean, it's kind of cool that she felt she could say that to you.
I think it was her subtle way of saying, so get the fuck out.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? In a way, she has the right to.
Yeah. I mean, I wasn't doing anything. So,
yeah. The good thing is you came out well.
Yeah.
After all that.
Also, one thing I want to say too, for people that don't have kids, it's like sometimes you'll have the deep conversations of, like, my wife and I have had the conversation of, if our kid got busted with drugs, would you bail them out or wouldn't you? I was like, it depends on the drug. If it's weed, I'm going to bail them out because my degree's in psychology. So like statistically, they have more chance of going back in if you leave them in. So it's best to pull them out, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, no, you leave them in there. So
that's
just because
tough love thing.
Yeah. So just because we don't have kids doesn't mean we don't go over hypotheticals of like, and come to the realization of like, we are 2 different parenting styles.
You and Danielle?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. To me, getting busted for weed, well, it's legal now, but I guess if he was underage, he'd still be busted, would be like getting, a ticket for a red light.
Yeah.
Do you let him spend the night in jail for that?
And I'm like, no.
Yeah, I'm kind of right there with you. But at the same time, if you let him stay in there, he's not going to fucking run a red light for a while, you would assume. Or he gets ass raped in jail and blames you forever.
Exactly. And I would rather not have that. I mean, and that's, people without kids do have those hypotheticals, and they realize like, okay, we probably would raise this kid differently.
Oh yeah.
Because I would be like, no, it's weed. That's all it is.
I'm just so glad because I did a lot of stupid stuff. I mean, I didn't go as hardcore as you did, but I did a lot of stupid stuff. And I'm just so lucky that 1, I didn't get caught. And 2, that when I did get caught, I was white and
Jesus,
clean
buddy.
cut. It's true. I lucked out. I was a white male. So I lucked out in the lottery of life. Okay. Now I'm getting all, this takes me to Mike Birbiglia. I love that guy. He's always on NPR and everything. He's talking about why he doesn't want kids. And here goes.
People with kids are miserable. And look, maybe I have a low tolerance for children because I've lost a lot of great friends to kids. Because it really is like a disease in some ways, but it's worse than a disease because they want you to have it, too. They're like, you should have kids, too. I'm watching you do it, and I'm thinking I'm gonna not do it. They're like zombies, like, you should eat brains. I'm watching you eat brains, and it seems like it ruined your life. And The way you kill zombies, you probably know this from the movies, right? Is you shoot them in the head with a shotgun. Or you chop off their heads with a machete or a samurai sword, which is also the way you kill anyone. So I'm talking about this with Jen, and she laughs, and I laugh, and we laugh as one. And then she says, but if we had a baby, I think it would be different. And I was like, you got bit! I tried to remain calm. I said, Chloe, I was very clear when we got married that I never wanted to have a kid, which, by the way, gets you nothing. Being very clear is apparently useless because she said I was clear I didn't want to have a baby at the time, but that I might change. And I said I was clear. I would never change. She said, if you don't want to have a baby, maybe I'll have one on my own and we can stay married. And I said, oh, that'll be a good look. It's you and me and this kid that's a cross between you and some grad student jacking his way through SUNY Purchase. I mean, you can't have a kid on the side. Like, we keep him in the shed. I mean, people do it. I've seen the documentaries. It's just, those aren't my role models. And then people will be like, you guys have kids. I gotta be like, she does. She says a baby wouldn't have to change the way we live our lives. I said, did you get less smart? Because you used to be so smart, and what you're saying currently is factually incorrect. And by the way, I've never wanted to have a kid for 7 specific reasons. Number 1, I've never felt like there should be more of me in the world. And don't get me wrong, I think 1 is funny. You know, 1, ha-ha, good one. You know what I mean? Like, let's get tickets. But I believe in survival of the fittest, and this is not the fittest. Like, I have the body of someone who's just about to start P90X and then doesn't. And
okay, so yeah, I guess that makes it tough if you go into it with the understanding that no kids and then someone changes their mind halfway through.
Which happens so much.
Oh, I'm sure. That's got to be, I don't know. I'm too old to, God, because I know when we had Owen, Kim wanted to go try for a second. And I'm like, there's no fucking way. We're too fucking old, and they were saying that at this age, to go right one after the other is not safe. And, for the health of the mom, and I'm not raising them on my own. I guess you just can't plan for every freaking thing.
God, no, most people I know with kids didn't plan on having kids.
No.
Like at least at that moment.
No, we did. I mean, we were actually trying for it, did the, I had to go jack it in the room to make sure everything was okay. And it was just, turned out I was putting it in the wrong place.
Oh, yeah. Well, they're so close together. I mean, come on now.
She hates that joke. And man, the people at the the Jack Shack where you turn in the stuff, no sense of humor, none at all. Cause I went in there, I had to go in there twice. I remember they gave me the same movie. I was like, I was wondering how this turned out. And she just looked at me all stoic. Like, I was like, come on, nothing. And
I'm sure she's heard every joke in the book.
I didn't do the, hey, you want to give me a hand or any of that. I'm sure they hear that shit too, but like, I was wondering how this one turned out. But
should have just given it back to her and be like, do you have Lady in the Tramp? What about Moana?
Dude. Do you have anything from Dakota Fanning's early movies?
You got Taxi Driver?
Oh. Oh God. Okay.
I hope you keep that in.
I'm keeping it in. I am keeping it in. But before it gets worse, I'm going to go to our last clip. Jesus Christ. where this guy, Andrew Schultz, tries to turn someone's decision not to have kids in his favor. Hang on.
So no kids, man. That's so weird. Do you really, how old are you? 38? Oh, you ain't having no fucking kids, right? Shit. That's some shit that just happened and you trying to get out in front of it. Like, I don't want any kids. Well, it's so stupid. I would never want kids. It's like when a guy's going bald and just shaves it. This is my choice. This is how I wanted my hair to look like. 38, man. Ovaries might be kicking. Are you on birth control? You are. Even at 38? Sweetheart, I think you could pull a goalie, you know? This fucking game is over. 38? You're worried about getting knocked up randomly? Dude, at 38, you gotta fuck a girl down with gravity just to get her pregnant. Like, ever sit in a handstand for 48 hours? Is it there? Is it connected? Oh, I hope this doesn't jinx me and then I don't have to have kids. That'd be fucked up. I want some kids.
How's your girl, Chelsea?
Oh, she's cool, man. Thanks for asking, bro. Hater. Look, I'm out here in fucking Australia trying to get some pussy. Now you make me feel all guilty. I got a 38-year-old who's barren, ready to go. You know what I mean? Jesus.
Getting cock blocked on stage. Again, there will be links for all these. And I just think it's a valid choice nowadays. One of the articles I had, which I have not even touched. Well, I will just mention it and I will post a link for it. It's from the Atlantic, which I love that magazine. Although it's always, the articles are too goddamn long to read in one sitting because I'm an idiot. But it just goes into the stuff about how, you know, from the 70s to 2005, childlessness kind of rose and then it kind of declined again. Today, 15% of women have never had kids. So I thought it would be a higher number than that, which is kind of
only
scary.
15.
That's what I thought. So holy shit. No
Like,
wonder.
are they saying full term?
Had kids? Yes. Not been knocked up.
15. Yeah, I figured it'd be
like
a lot
30
more than
or
that.
something.
Yeah.
But yeah. So, and you know, pretty much the biggest thing that makes people decide not to have kids is freedom. That goes away. You can't just drop what you're doing and go, hey, let's go to Tahoe this weekend or anything like that. I mean, you can, but it's definitely not as easy. But also they talk a lot about careers because, you know, I hate to say it, women that have kids, it's tough for them to advance because you're pulled out of the game for a few, 6 weeks or so. And then you really can't focus 100% on your job.
Then you just decide not to go back.
Well, yeah. I wonder how that happens.
Well, because parenting, I mean, being a mother is the hardest job on the planet.
Yeah. Oh, I should put the Bill Burr thing in. It's like any job where you can just bend over and put in a DVD in your PJs.
Yeah.
And then they do find that childless women end up just as satisfied in their lives in the end. Not the case for teen moms. They're fucked.
Oh, but they're broken in such a great way.
Jesus Christ.
At least the teen moms on the Teen Mom OG.
Okay. Well, and related to that, a bad childhood can make a person less eager to relive it.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, that was part of why I didn't want to have kids because, I mean, I didn't have a horrible childhood, but I also remember it being fucked. And, you know, the world's a shithole right now. Wanting to bring someone into that just seems kind of cruel.
Well, especially with everything on the news cycle is like the ozone layer is getting bigger. Heating is it's like, I mean, I don't know if it was the same, when you were a kid, but it just seems that ever since I could remember, I would be shocked if the world existed by the time I died.
Well, the world won't exist in a way that we recognize by the time we die, I think.
No, I mean, like it would be unlivable like by the time I'm 60.
Sure. And who knows? I mean, it's definitely, I don't know. I don't want to get on my fucking soapbox. I don't like the way things are going. And I actually do kind of worry about what Owen's going to have to look forward to.
In all honesty, I think if I brought a kid into this world, my biggest fear would be, would it even be habitable by the time they get to a certain age?
Mm-hmm.
And if so, not to get political, but politically, where would we be as a society?
Yeah, there's a really good chance by the time he's my age, this is going to be a third world country again.
Again, I don't think we ever stopped.
Well, no, I mean, there was a time, there's something to be said for going into a world war where everyone else gets bombed to shit, but you don't. So you can just go, hey, we're good. We can start up. So, I mean, the boom of the 50s was not an accident. We were the only ones that weren't really affected by that war.
True.
And we benefited from it. And as we should have, but we also didn't do what we had to do to keep that going.
Yeah, we did most of the work anyways.
Fucking fight me if you disagree. Anyway, that's going to bring us to the bad dad. But first, plug your shit right when you're going to cough. It's like a waiter waiting for you to take a bite of something. How is everything? Fuck you.
So follow me on Twitter at @TheBigNickJ. I post a lot of jokes that seem to be doing good. I posted one recently. They got 100 likes and like 50 retweets, which is big for me. Also, listen. Well, I mean, if you're, of the mind that you like offensive humor, so much so that it offends Rob sometimes.
Doesn't offend. I just felt so you had this
delicate sensibilities.
Not at all. You had this wonderful idea, which I'm still on the fence about, where you wanted to do a beauty contest between the victims of Ted Bundy, like rating how hot they were.
Well, hold on. You're leaving a crucial part out. We were doing a beauty pageant on serial killers.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah, because that makes it better.
Well, I'm just saying, it's not like we just, it's not like I just sit here thinking we should rate a bunch of dead people.
Yeah. Who's the hottest girl to get killed by a serial killer?
Yeah, no, we wouldn't even we would be I wanted to put them in order of like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
And something about that just hit me wrong. But other than that, if you want to hear me without a filter, go to Listen to Gag on This.
Listen to Gag on This. We release episodes on YouTube every Saturday, podcasts on Monday. And if you want to be a guest, email us gagonthispodcast@gmail.com. We interview comedians, a whole bunch of stuff. April is going to be, we're a month late, but April is going to be all women in comedy month. And then May is going to be all comedy podcast. So it should be good.
So the women are a month late. We're scared.
Hey, speaking of babies.
Yeah. Check out our sponsor, the Seattle Gummy Company. They make high energy mocha shots. I love these guys. When stuff, that after lunch kind of when you're just dead, they just help push you through to the end of the day. They're really effective. They work 5 times faster than a cup of coffee and cost half as much as a cup of coffee from one of those chain places. They have the chili pepper mocha shots now, which I keep forgetting to order, but I'm going to have to because putting heat and I don't know how that's going to work. Coffee flavor with chili pepper.
Well, it'd be like real cocoa mix has cayenne pepper in it.
Yeah, but I mean, to the point where you actually feel it.
Yeah, I don't know,
but I'm looking forward to trying it. They also have like immunity gummies and everything out there now,
which I have a box of.
There you go. And how are they?
I'll have to send you some. They're good. The only issue is it's acai. Yeah, it's that berry. And I just don't like the flavor. So, I mean, I could give you the whole box if you want.
No, I'm good. I know Mike would take it.
They are really good in the sense of all the vitamins and nutrients they have.
Cool. Yeah. It's like I don't like lingonberries. I never get anything like that from IKEA.
What the fuck is a lingonberry?
It's a Swedish berry. I think it's related to the dingle. But
oh, Jesus Christ.
Anyway, click the link in the show notes and we get some credit. Enter the code StandUpDads15, get 15% off your order. And if you see another special going on there, you can enter in that code too. I believe you can combine 2 bonus codes and save more on your caffeine. Seattle Gummy Company, Stand Up Dad tested and approved. Get shit done. Now, our bad dad.
Our local bad dad.
Right in our backyard. North Highlands dad angry his daughter is being taught about Black Lives Matter. This just came out yesterday. This is at San Juan High School, which is just literally down the street from both of us.
Yeah.
And a North Highlands dad wants his daughter to be able to opt out of the Black Lives Matter lesson in her ethnic studies class, saying it doesn't align with his family's beliefs. So
it's ethnic studies.
It's ethnic studies. And where do your beliefs factor into that? So his argument is
all lives matter.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
He's saying that.
Let me sum it up for you. Basically, what he's saying is, "How Hitler?"
No, it's not going that far. But the daughter said it really made her uncomfortable in class. The class is being taken online, and the dad emailed the teacher asking for an alternate lesson plan. He calls BLM a radical group. That would be like saying, don't teach my kid about the Black Panthers because they were a radical group. They were a radical group, but BLM is not. Fuck, they're Boy Scouts compared to the Black Panthers.
I was about to say, technically, they're not even a group; they're an ideology.
Exactly. So they don't have meetings.
Yeah, no, not that we know of.
Yeah, I know. Where do your beliefs come in? It's not like if you believe in a flat Earth, do you pull your kid from geography class?
Well, I mean, you got people pulling their kids from a class that teaches evolution.
I
it's
know.
Against their
and
beliefs.
Again, I think that's fucking stupid as well. Those people should not be having kids. God damn it.
And they have 19 and counting.
And also belief. How about you test your belief by learning about something? That's the part that kills me. It's like you're saying, I don't even want to hear about this. Take the class, go through with it and say, you know what? Those fuckers are hella radical. I don't like them. You know what? At least you gave it a shot. You learned about it. I disagree with you, but I respect the fact that you took a chance to learn about it. But these guys are, no. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. I'm afraid that, it's like people that are afraid of gay people. It's like, I'm going to catch it. It's like, That's not how that works. And believe me, most of the guys that are afraid of it, they don't want to fuck you.
Yeah, no.
I remember because, God, I look back at myself when I was like 18, 19, and I shudder because I was this conservative, self-righteous, just prick. And then I stopped believing in God. And then suddenly the world opened up. Kind of related to that. I went to a Catholic school for 12 years. And in my high school, they did teach a comparative religions class, which I think was awesome because you actually went in depth on other stuff. We even had like a Hare Krishna come in one day to do a talk, which we were, and I guarantee you that people would flip out about that now. It's like, oh, you can't teach my kid about Muslims and, especially the Hare Krishnas and all that. But I'm glad they did because it made you realize like, oh, they have a lot of stuff in common. Like I had no idea that Judah, they're called Abrahamic religions for a reason.
Yeah.
Judaism and Muslim or Islam come from the same, they're based on the same stuff. So they have the same superheroes and all that shit. So does, the Old Testament Christianity. It's all the same guys. So I don't know. I think that helps. I don't know. I think people are afraid of that. Garen Bratcher, you're our bad dad. You're a fucking idiot.
Well, I'm curious. What would you do because maybe where he's coming from is like he's afraid that his daughter, you said?
Yeah.
That his daughter would have different ideals. So like, what if Owen, let's just say he was old enough to understand politics during the Trump era. What if he came home and was like, they taught me about Trump and how great he is. Like, this is amazing. Would you be okay with him continuing that class?
No, I would. I would sit down and say, all right, well, if that was the whole point of the class saying, hey, Trump's great, then I've got problems with that because what are you basing this on? But I would say, no, keep going. And then we're going to have a big discussion on this and hash this out. So I have no problems with that. I don't mind someone hearing ideas that I don't agree with. It's just if they're forced down their throat, which again, it's a fucking ethnic studies class.
Well, and I'm curious what are they talking about BLM as a movement as far as like civil rights? Because that's the only thing I could think of when they like talk about BLM, because it's all mostly about positive things of like, police brutality. Let's discuss it.
Yeah.
Income equality, education equality. Let's discuss it. And I think he's just upset about the name BLM being used, I
guess. Well, here's from a statement straight from San Juan Unified School District. They released a statement. The course is taught in alignment with state framework, and this particular unit asks students to consider two relevant questions. How has race and ethnicity been constructed in the United States, and how have they changed over time? And how do race and ethnicity continue to shape the United States' contemporary issues?
That seems perfectly fine.
Exactly. They're not saying this is why Whitey is bad, which I think he's thinking, and hey, guess what? Whitey's bad.
We are.
I just love it. A guy shoots up a couple of massage parlors and he gets arrested, not a bruise on him. And, you're selling Lucy's outside of a store, you're dead. It just kind of
Lucy's.
cigarettes. What was the guy? Was it up in Seattle?
I'm
years
just
ago?
saying, you called it a Lucy?
That's what they called it. Loose cigarettes.
Holy shit.
Fucking A.
Let's go take some Reds.
Yeah. Hey. It just seems, let me see, was there other stuff? Yeah. Black Lives Matter movement is a timely and important area of study and processing these two questions. Again, I have no problems with that. So they're not coming out saying these guys are good and your guys are bad. It's just saying, how has this, this came from something.
Yeah, it sounds like he's just having a reaction to BLM itself.
Yeah. And I'm sorry, ignorance never does anyone any good. Learn about it, because I know when I was in high school in that comparative religions class and I see the fucking onion head walking in, I had, I was totally close to the guy. Still, at least I saw, I'm like, well, you know what? He wasn't that bad. He didn't, I don't know. I was totally homophobic till I met one.
Yeah.
It's one of those things. And I think, and then I was like, oh, well, fuck, why was I scared of you? You're fucking hella cool. Let's go, and it's just, I think that hiding your kid from learning about something different is the worst thing you could possibly do to them.
Well, it's going to keep them in the perpetuation of whatever the dad believes.
Yeah. Which is why I'm not a fan of homeschooling, because you're twisting it in a way that you want. I'm sure people are yelling at their whatever they're listening to me on right now and just going, no, you don't know, you fucking socialist. And yeah, okay.
I'm sorry to say, socialism has some good points. Fuck it, I'll say it. Send me hate mail. Socialism has some decent points.
I am completely a socialist. I mean, it's kind of, I'm not a communist, but I'm not going to fucking go into that right now because it's just.
Let's just reiterate that this dad is a douchebag, and unfortunately, he is in our backyard.
Yes, he is.
And you know what sucks? People like him exist by the millions.
Oh, totally. I'm sure he's got a MAGA hat somewhere and all that crap. But
yeah, I thought you were going to lose your shit when Danny put "Make America Neon" again.
My hackles got raised, and then I looked. I'm like, oh, it says neon. Okay, we're good. I used to drive by a sign. They took it down finally. It was a big sign about the size of a garage door. It said, "God, Jesus, Trump, Amen."
Ugh. Ugh.
So these guys are the ones that would not like the Black Lives Matter class.
But isn't he a New York liberal now?
That cracked me up when they go to Oklahoma, which this town in Oklahoma, I think it was Oklahoma, right?
Yeah.
And 92% of the people in this town voted for Trump. And they said, now that he said you guys can get vaccinated, you should get vaccinated. What do you think? And then they said,
he's a New York liberal,
which God, they turned on him like nothing. It's like, he doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. So, I mean, these people are just going to just use whatever they can to get whatever they want.
This got political.
I know. Email us. Tell us what you think at thestandupdads@gmail.com. If anyone's left, can subscribe, rate us, review us. It's how the show grows. Tell a friend.
Watch this be the rating where they're like, they talked about having sex with masturbating to underage girls like Taxi Driver. Well, I mean, to quote one of your other reviews, it's typical American humor. We're trying to be funny and we're not.
This is true. Mike is not here, but he still has a website, and you could hire him to draw a picture of a girl covering her ears in a Black Lives Matter class.
And that's Pencil for Hire, PENCILFORHIRE.
You're an asshole. Go to pencilforhire.com. I know, and it took like 10 episodes to get him to stop spelling the whole thing like you just did, you dick. He also has a comic collection. It's got about 600 comics called Clumsy Love. It starts about 2 years before he had a kid and goes about 2 or 3 years after. They were great. I used to look forward to them coming out. Like they would come out 2 or 3 times a week, and I would be on them if they were running late because I really did genuinely enjoy them. And it's not because I knew them. Again, Seattle Gummy Company. Click the link in the show notes. Enter the code StandUpDads15. Get 15% off your order.
One thing I do want to say to plug Mike is he did both the Stand Up Dads logo and the gag on this podcast mouth logo, which people love the mouth logo for some reason. Well, it's pretty good. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, if you have a podcast or if you just want some art done, he does really good art. He actually works with you, when you're doing it, if you have, and he's not like a dick about it. and it's at reasonable prices. So
If he likes
you
you.
ever need, well, if you ever need anything like that, definitely hit him up.
Definitely. And he's passionate about what he does. Like, because I've asked him to tweak stuff and he doesn't think twice. Like, okay, I can see that. I mean, if you're trying to tweak it just to be a dick, then he gets upset. But he's not so precious about his work that he's like, no, that's how I did it. It stays that way. No, he wants everyone to be happy. So
yeah, as long as you're not like Rob said, that asshole that's like, I want a face. And then when he shows you the face, you're like, actually make it a cactus.
Yeah, exactly. I remember in high school, we had a guy who had him draw something for his Letterman jacket.
Mm-hmm.
And it became a running joke because he was like, make him more buffer. To where it was just this cartoonish looking, I don't know. I'm not going to go too specific because it'll point out who it was and everyone will know. Well, anyone that went to high school with me, and because he walked around with a Buffer jacket. But anyways, click the link in the show notes for Seattle Gummy Company. Enter the code StandUpDads15, get 15% off. Stand Up Dad tested and approved. Get shit done. And finally, check out the gag on this podcast. It's fun.
You were looking at me and I was like, am I supposed
No,
to say
I was actually looking out the window. Squirrel, literally a squirrel. There's a squirrel trying to get on the bird feeder, and it was always entertaining. But yeah, I've been doing that with Big Nick for we're coming up on 3 years soon, 2.5.
Yeah, it'll be 3 years in July.
Here we go. And you got me hooked on this goddamn podcasting thing, you asshole.
I know, and you got a really nice board.
Well, it remains to be seen. I don't even know if it works.
It fucking better.
No shit. Anyway, Nick, thank you so much for coming on. I always love talking with you.
Thank you for having me, even though I'm not a dad. I'm a dad in spirit.
Dude, you're probably going to be a better dad than me. So,
no.
Oh, yeah.
No.
Anyway, I'm rambling. Okay, we just go no and then just fade out. Talk to you guys next week. Bye.
Thing I want to say is thank you all for coming. Bye-bye.